Hello everyone. So this is a question on statistics, and it's a very common question that comes up all the time. So what is this? Well, it's a statistics question based on the cumulative frequency graph, as you see. So this is the question. They give you some information. There are 800 students who took a test, and now you need to find the median mark, the interquartile range, and part C, which will come back in a minute. So the way to do this question is quite simple, standard. By the way, it comes up every year in the O level, almost, I think. So it's really important we know that, and we must score. Like my teacher said, it's a confirm guarantee score question one. So the first part was find the median mark. How on earth do I do that? Well, actually, it isn't that difficult. It's pretty simple enough. What you do is, okay, part A, median mark. So what? Well, median mark would be you take 800 divided by 2, which is 400, and you just then draw a line at the 400 mark. And this is what you do actually on your own paper. Use a ruler and then go down and mark off. For the sake of simplicity, I'm not going to do that, or else it will be very ugly. So it turns out that the median mark is 54. Done. Just like that, finished already. We got our median mark. Then comes the second part, the interquartile range. This actually turns out to be simpler too, but it requires a little bit of knowledge. So the interquartile range would be Q3 minus Q1. What on earth is Q3 and Q1? Well, Q3 is the 75th percentile. It's the upper quartile, or rather the upper quartile. And how do we do that? The upper quartile will be, you take the full number of students, which is 800. Okay, so you write 800. This is, by the way, this is how I find the upper quartile, and you times it by 3/4. And then the lower quartile, it turns out, would be again 800, because that's the total number of students, times 1/4, and that's how you get a quartile. By the way, the reason why I'm writing this in brackets is because you don't have to show this. So then after we get those values, what you do is, again, you draw lines. So the upper quartile is around 600, if I'm correct, and then you just mark off like the previous. And the lower quartile turns out to be 200, and then you read off the marks, and those would be in my Q3 and Q1. So, and as I tell you again, don't need to show the things in bracket. So my upper quartile turns out to be 66, my lower quartile turns out to be 44, and you just do a simple calculation, you get your interquartile range to be 22, and that's the answer. Simple enough. Yes, I have to reinforce this for your own neatness sake. Do not show this. It actually doesn't make that much sense unless we explain it even more. So except that, it should be alright. Part C, the challenging part. To be awarded a grade A student has to get 78 or more marks. So now estimate the number of students who are awarded grade A. So simple, very standard procedure. What we do is we mark off 78. Oops. So 78 is just about there, and you draw a ruler all the way up to the curve, and then again you find the corresponding number of students. And if you work it out, personally, it's quite hard to show here. It turns out that there are 720 students, and these did, what do you think? Did they get an A or did not get an A? It turns out that 720 students did not get an A. It's quite impossible, right? 800 students, how come nearly the whole class get A? It must be a super good class. No. So number of students who did get an A would be the total number of students, which turns out to be 800, minus the number of students who didn't get an A. So it will be 80. And that's the answer. As simple as that. So it turns out that this type of question is quite standard. They'll tell you to find the median or the mean, and then they tell you to find interquartile range, and they'll give something funny like part C. It's a very standard procedure. Score these marks and get your own distinction.